My name is Ian and my colleague is Anand. So today we will be giving you guys an introduction into cybersecurity, which I believe is quite an interesting point for most of you who is interested, because we all like this, hacking stuff and all these things. So from what we are going to do today is like give you a brief introduction, like the things going on today regarding your own security of your devices and your data. So this is basically creating awareness between you guys, because it's good to know about these things so that you can protect yourselves as well as maybe your colleagues as well by letting them know. So and yeah, after this we'll be doing a small demo for you guys as well. So like one demo will be relating to phishing. So have any of you guys heard the word phishing before? Not the fish phishing, okay? This is the other phishing, which calls like stealing your credentials through a fake website. So yeah, so we'll be doing a demo on that, as well as how to compromise another system. So from one system, how we can enter into another system without that user knowing about it. So by doing that, we can steal all of the information from it as well. So they will be completely unaware of such a situation happening. So we can use that because we can steal their data and we can use it maybe against them for different things which we like as an attacker, from an attacker's point of view. So yeah, let's go ahead with the view.
Yeah. Like this.
Bear with a small technical difficulty. The projector, the cable is a bit funny. So yeah.
So you have a test and then you go into work. Or you go like, I have a brace they say I have this score. Yeah, because the register said it's pretty tough to work and then you test the next day. One thing you don't want to do is study when you come back. Man, too tough.
It's fine, I'm studying a lot this week. I'm just going to stay.
Yeah, but that's not bad. But even though, like, what time is it? What time is it? Oh, okay. I mean, your Wednesday class, does it start like at 3? Yeah, so it should be alright. Because you wake up early anyway. Right. So you have good hours to just make sure.
I'm trying to like stay late as possible.
Yeah.
Because stay late is like I don't need.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. Technically, I save more time during studying at night than during the day, because you day have to cook food and
yeah, literally, that's why it's like
metabolism running, so you take a shit. It's better if you study at night.
Yeah, when you've already ate during the day, and then you kind of study for on, and then you wake up.
You just
and
need a bag of chips. Yeah, you study at night.
Exactly.
It's really hard doing it because I work weekends in the morning. So
You just gotta handle it for about 2 more months or 2 more months. And then you can eat anytime, eat and sleep anytime.
You'll be going to South Island and do it?
Yeah, I'm good. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. I'm going actually on Thursday morning. I'm going to Dunedin on Thursday morning.
They come back on weekends.
Yeah, then I'm coming to actually no, I'm going only for a holiday, for a small holiday thing. For like my youth. So I'm coming back on Monday night. So I'll probably be missing this next week.
Should be fun.
Okay, so I think we're back on track. Yeah, for the moment. For this, for our demos and everything, what we are mainly using the operating system is called Kali Linux. So unless you guys have heard of it, say it's Linux, but it's a special distribution for for what we do for the attacking purposes. So in the hacking, what we use is Kali Linux. So this is separate from normal Linux because you have extra tools specifically to get the job done from the attacker's point as well as from the defender's point. So the victim will be using later on, the demo is going to be just a Windows 7 machine, because there are certain organizations that still rely on Windows 7 because of its less overhead. So it loads quickly, it functions more quickly and everything. So yeah, so I'll begin with this and then we'll go ahead with the demo. So first we'll be doing social engineering and best practices and solutions. Forget about that for the moment. I'll just go ahead with the social engineering. So most of the attacks happening today in the world related to cybersecurity is happening in the form of social engineering attacks. So social engineering is basically trying to manipulate the human into gaining access into a system. So what we are doing is we are asking a person, whoever it is, just a simple question, and they will unintentionally they will give you the answer which we can use it against them. So it's like asking your password and you don't know it, but you end up giving me the password for whatever your accounts. So we can, once we get that, we can log into your account, we can do whatever you want, you know. So social engineering is basically all about that, meaning not about the technical side, it's about how we exploit some person, a human, so to give the information we want. So it can be simply as just asking a simple question and they will just give us the answer which we can use against them. So that's what the social engineering is going to be all about. So first one will be this phishing, which I just spoke about. It's relating to websites. I'll come to that in a few. Hoax mails, which the mail you get through your emails appears to be legit, but it's not. And phishing is same type of attack which happens through phishing, except it happens through phone calls. So New Zealand is mainly that is being used mainly on people in New Zealand, phishing, because there are so many people who have got calls from banks that they claim that they are a bank, but they are not a bank. So not the bank they're claiming, they are just an attacker trying to get your information. And next, tailgating and piggybacking. So I'll come to that as well, and shoulder surfing. So let's take a look at the first one, phishing. So if you just see, we all use Facebook. So this is actually a Facebook page. It's actually the actual Facebook page, but you can't tell it apart because unless you look at the link on top. If you look at the link on top, which is highlighted, it's not Facebook. You see the link is different. It has an extra O and it's .net. So if you go ahead and say Facebook never comes in .net, it's .com. So that's different. So if you don't look at those small minor things when you're doing, clicking on links through emails and stuff, you will be a victim of this attack called phishing attack, which main goal is to steal your information, meaning your login credentials, maybe credit card numbers, all these sorts. So today's demo will also be relating to this. So we have used Facebook as well for that, to show you how we can just get someone else's login credentials. So Facebook, it's not only Facebook, like I said before, it's relating to bank accounts, because you get fake emails to your own email relating to a bank. So they say like log in here and confirm your details. So if you click, you will go to the bank website, say ASB for example. You will be exactly on the ASB website, it will look the same. But if you look at the link, it's actually not the ASB link. It's going to be something different. It's like that way. But the page will be the same. So that's about phishing. So let's move on to the second one. It's the hoax mails.
Sorry. Question.
Yeah.
I think there is another thing in the URL of the website which indicates there is something wrong with this.
Encryption.
Does anyone know what's? If you go back Anand, could you go back to the previous page? Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
That's HTTP, right?
Yes.
Normally for the
That's another thing you have to
websites,
notice.
it's HTTPS. I mean, don't trust websites, especially if you do shopping, online transaction. Not at all, absolutely. Just leave that website. If there's no HTTPS in the beginning of the URL, HTTP is unsecure.
So
Even just for browsing, that might be fine, but don't click on anything, don't do any kind of transaction. Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Farhad was saying, you always have to look for the HTTPS. The S should be there at the end, because any website nowadays, basically 99% of the websites use the S in front, which is for secure, which encrypts all your information, your credentials which you enter on it, which makes sure that it does not go to anybody else. But in links like this way, they do not use the S. But still, there are ways where we can use the S as well. So HTTPS also we use certain times, but most of the ones they do not use the HTTPS. So in this example, so there is no S, so you cannot see clearly, and in the top level domain we call it, the .net, is .net, not .com, which should be. So yeah. Moving on, yeah, like I said, the hoax mails. So if you look at this as well, it's exactly from Amazon. It's exactly from Amazon, which asks to log in to verify your account. If not, your account will be locked out. So if you read it, so ideally if you look at this, it's a general email which is sent to everybody, because if you, don't you think like if Amazon is sending you an email saying to log in, to confirm your credentials or something, that they will actually mention your name in the email, because if it's personalized to you. In this case, it's more generic. You say it's dear client. They have not mentioned the client's name. So if they're asking more to confirm your details or something, they have to at least mention your proper name. So that is one. Other thing, the link on top. From, you see, it's management at amazoncanada.ca if you roughly look at it. But if you look, there is a spelling mistake. There is no A in the Amazon word. Those small things we manipulate and send you the emails just for the sake of getting the information from you. So also there is a link. They give you a link. It's the exact Amazon website when you look at the link. But when you just hover your mouse over the link, you don't need to click on it. You just hover it on top, and you can see underneath that it's not going to be the actual link which you see with your naked eye. So when you hover your mouse on top, it will reveal the actual link which you will be redirected to. So what we are doing in this scenario is we are hiding the fake website of ours under the wording of the actual website. So clicking on that does not mean it's going to Amazon. So if you hover your mouse on top, you can identify that. But there are modern techniques as well where hovering your mouse will do no good. So if we hover your mouse, it will still show the same thing. That's different ways. So you have to identify from the other types, like once you are in the website, you should like the link and stuff. So these are the ways we send the phishing websites and all these things to you guys through email. So that's the hoax mail. So it basically appears legit, but it's not. Then we can go ahead with phishing, like I said before. Remember the phishing, I said that we try to get the same website and get your details. In this case, phishing is done through the phone. So basically we will phone you up and just say, hi, I'm from say ANZ Bank, and we have a small system error and we cannot verify your account. Can you please confirm your details to me, your account number and stuff like that. So if you believe that caller, if they appear to be more legit to you, you will simply give them the information. Because one thing you have to know is personal information, banks or anybody does not call and ask directly from you. They will either send you an official letter to your home, or they will ask you to visit the bank itself. No one will call and ask to verify your account number or something over the phone. That is one tip off which you can know. So phishing is all about that. Just calling you and getting the information from you where we can use it against you. So phishing is done through the phone. The same as the phishing, trying to get your details, but it's done through the phone. So there's another one which I have not mentioned here called smishing. Okay, that is done through SMS. So we send you a text message, like same way, same scenario. We create a scenario and we send you a text message. So that's called smishing. That is through the phones. Okay. So these are different types of actually attacks in this world are like numerous. You know, there are so many. It's not just these things limited to. There are hundreds of these in different forms. So because of that, whatever you do, you have to always be aware of your surroundings and stuff. Okay, so tailgating and piggybacking. Ideally, tailgating is, when you open the door, say like this way example, an access door. You need an access card to get in. So if an attacker wants to get into a building, so he doesn't have the access key. What he will do is, he will just hide in a corner somewhere until someone who has the key enters the building. So once you open the door and once you walk in, none of us will look back at the door closing, right? We don't care. We just walk inside. At that time, during that few seconds that the door is closing, he will quickly put his leg and stop it and he will creep inside. During that few seconds. Because he's always looking at someone going inside. So that's called tailgating. It's exactly following you behind. So once they get into an organization, they can do what they like. They can, just install a flash drive, install these things we call it backdoors and stuff, where we can gain access into their internal systems. Because once we're inside an organization, we can easily, leak out all their private information, everything. So to gain access, these are ways we gain access into the building. And by doing that, we can do whatever we like. Piggybacking is the same thing, except it is done with the knowledge of who the employer is having the key. Say for example, I walk up to the door with a bunch of pizzas in my hand. So yeah, I cannot grab my access key to open or something. I can say like that. So if there's an employee there, I can go, sorry, I cannot grab my access key, can you please open the door for me? And that person will just open and hold the door for him without verifying that he actually has or not, That's called piggybacking. So you're entering on someone else's credentials with the knowledge of that person. So that's the piggybacking. So ideally, if you do such a scenario, to always verify the information, whether you actually have your card. Can I please show you? Oh, I will hold the boxes for you, you show me your access key. Something like that way. So that's what these things we do to gain access into buildings, physical entry. Final one is shoulder surfing. So shoulder surfing is, I think most of us have done this during our exams and stuff. We try to do this kind of stuff. So it's actually, trying to always spy on somebody else without their knowledge. Say if you're walking by, you just look at your desk, but okay, this is the answer for this question. All right, okay. So it's like that way, So this guy is also doing the same thing. She's unaware, but he's from behind looking at her screen. Say for example, you're in a public place placing an order for something, eBay, Amazon, whatever. If you're entering your card details, if someone is looking at the screen without your knowledge, he can easily see, okay, this is the card number, okay, this is the, the secret key and everything. So like that way he can get the details. So always be aware when you're accessing private information in public places as well. This is just knowledge. Make sure that there's no one around you who can, keep spying on you from behind without your knowledge. So shoulder surfing is all about that, because once we just look at your screen, we can identify, okay, this email address is maybe his chairman's. But then I can use his chairman's email address to, compromise chairman by sending them fake emails and all this kind of stuff. Even an email address which we get relating to, if we know who it owns, we can, use that against them as well. So that's about the shoulder surfing. So that's about it for now. So now we will just go ahead with a small demo on the phishing, like I said. So we'll see how we can harvest your information by your careless mistakes, kind of like that, So we'll be sending a link which appears to be exactly from a person, but ideally it's not. So ideally, like say you send me an email, but I have an email, but it appears to be from you, but you say, no, I didn't send this email. I can do like that way, that's what it's all about. We'll have a look at it. Yeah, so due to the technical difficulties here, we cannot do it over here, but we have done it previously. So there's an email here which appears to be from Farhad, okay? But if you ask him, he didn't send any such email to us. It's his email address, but he has not sent anything to us. It's his exact email address. So it's just, we can type whatever you want. So for this case, we have just typed there. Please click on such a link. Say, you can say like the same Amazon thing. Click on this link to verify your details. So that link is basically, once we click on it, we will be directed to the attacker's website, which is going to be the phishing website. Okay. So these are a couple of commands which we use to go ahead with it. So what we are doing is we have our own internal server for this Kali Linux which we use in our case. So we have this, we capture the same exact Facebook, say whatever website, example we have Facebook page, because we can get the same page from the code, it's called the source code, which is used, it's a code used to develop that page. So what we do is we take that same code and if we implement it elsewhere, we'll get the same page, okay? So it's not like we are creating our own page, it's copying the same code which they have, which is freely available for anybody. So we can use the page source. So once we do that, we create the same page, but we keep it in our own web server. So by doing that, the attacker, when we click on that link, they'll be redirected straight away to our server, not the Facebook, because it's our IP address, as Farhad mentioned earlier regarding IPs. So IP address source to destination. So we can give our IP address, which is the attacker's side, and it will come to us. See, this is exactly the Facebook page which you go when you go to login. Say, because we can send them a different page as well, say ASP, ANZ, whatever. So from here, once you enter your email address and password and login, you won't log in. So the email address and password will be directly sent to us, so we can have access to it. So if you just see anything.
It will go to my.
Okay, so it's whatever you enter is related to his Facebook page in this case.
So this is how you are not aware that you are just getting sniffed by someone else.
Exactly. So once you do that, you will be logged on to. We can make it to go into your own Facebook page as well. So if we show you. Yeah. So over here you see we have the email address and password which he just typed over there. It just comes into a server as a text file. Say we can easily view all the information. So if you, that's what I'm saying, through your email, whatever links you get, do not click on those links. So because clicking on those will not only take you to these fake websites, there are other stuff which can also be remotely downloaded onto your devices, which we can have access to once it happens. So those are mainly called backdoors which we use. Okay. So yeah, that's regarding the phishing. That's what we say. Don't click on links.
Now we can show the exploitation of Windows machines. So as he told, the New Zealand is mostly using Windows 7. Okay, so which is vulnerable. So how we can exploit it? Any idea? How to hack? Any ideas? Someone has got?
Okay, you guys know exploitation, right?
Exploitation, like getting into someone else's system and then you can access it. It's called as a hacking. So there are many ways. So last session we made it for the backdooring, that you send some malware which as a backdoor which will open the door so that we can get into the systems. So today, without backdoors also we can use, like this guy has some weakness. I can use that weakness to compromise him. Just the same way, Windows machines also having some weaknesses, which we call it as vulnerabilities, using which we can just compromise that thing. So we are taking Windows 7 as an example today.
Maybe you can also explain about some of the, I mean, because many people think that Windows 7 is kind of outdated and maybe no one uses Windows 7,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
what I
not
said.
true.
It's not true because we use
Or
Windows 7.
Windows XP, for example. You can explain why you're talking about Windows 7.
Yeah, just because of the overheads. You know, Windows 10 is very groomed. It is for like home commercial use. We can't use it in the production because there are not only one host addresses or host machines. We want so many, 100+ machines, so we need to have good networking. So we use XP and 7 because it is very easy to use and no much extra resources. That's why we use as Windows 7. Even though we will get Windows 15 also, still we're going to use that.
If you guys will believe this, but currently even the bank ATM machines, they are run on Windows XP. You know, it's not the new Windows 10 or anything, because less overhead. You know, it loads fast, it transfers files quickly. There's nothing much big, because if you take Windows 10, everything starts loading, defend, Windows Defender, all this kind of stuff, which are new. It's good, yeah, but it slows the performance down of the device. So that's why we go ahead with Windows 7 and Windows XP.
So does it mean that the banking system is not able to protect our data?
Yeah, this is the reason why, because we need to make a balance. We can't get everything perfectly. We can
Are
go
there
with the...
any-
Sorry?
Are there any security problems recently in the banking system? Anything
Yeah, such kind
reported?
of things only, because mostly administrators fail to update it, or the patch management servers fail to manage the patching and updates of that, and so many zero-day vulnerabilities, attacks come across.
Even if you want to update it, the update is not available, right, for XP and
No.
Windows 7.
Yeah.
So you can't update it. There is no
Yeah.
anymore.
So
this is the reason why they invest a lot for
Yeah.
layers of securities.
that's why we have other layers like IPS, IDS, firewall, all these other devices we have in terms of that. Because we always have to have balance between performance and security. You can't have only performance then, because it's always like this way, If performance goes up, you have high performance, but your security will go down. Something like that. So you have to always balance both. So because of that, only they use XP and other devices for the security side.
So let's take an example of, this is the Windows 7 which we're going to compromise. This is in the virtual machine environment. So this is the IP address of this, and this virtual machine and my Kali Linux is in the same network. So the IP address of this is 1.150. And regarding the exploit, Windows 7 is very vulnerable for buffer overflows. Did you teach or? Okay.
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure all of us know because we taught it last semester. Anyone who's taken operating system knows
Buffer overflows?
Buffer overflows. So a
Pretty
bit of
straightforward.
idea, Okay. So this exploit is vulnerable for buffer overflows because it can't handle so much of ports or requests coming into its buffer. So it gets overflow, which fails to authenticate SMB servers and everything. Whatever the authentication comes, it just skips it. It's like a security guard is standing on the gate, and if one person is coming, he can just check everything thoroughly. But what if the hundreds of people come? Okay, go, like this. So in that line, so many burgers will enter. So this is called as a buffer overflow. So I will just start my services. So
You will find Linux quite interesting for you guys if you are interested, because it's all about commands. You can have the graphical thing as well, but doing it in commands is more
it's easy.
easy
And yeah.
and more fun. You keep
You'll
time
forget the
inside.
Microsoft once you start learning the Linux. And although there are so many versions of Linux, Ubuntu is the commercial one.
You get a lot.
Anybody interested in cybersecurity? Everyone is getting bored, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
We're all good.
Oh.
People who are interested, it is good.
Okay, so cybersecurity people, this is called as Metasploit, which is the most common tool used for penetration testing, even hacking. So only one single tool used for protecting and offending. Okay, so regarding the exploit, what I said, this is buffer overflow. The code name is MS17 because it came again in 2017. So it is repeatedly, so you will find it in 2010, 12, 15, and now it is in 17, might be coming in 19.
Basically, those things go as code names once they discover it. So in this, like you said, MS means for Microsoft. 17 means the year it is discovered. So that is 2017. Okay, so these are all in different names. So if you see over here,
Pretty cool name they have given, Eternal Blue, so it can be also called as Eternal Romance because this exploit is going to groom the kernel of the buffer in such a way that it's like security guard standing and 10 ladies are coming. Okay, no need to check. Go. Okay, so we can explain like that. So we're gonna use this. Hopefully it works. Okay, so what are the information? If you can see, this is the information description. This is given by the Metasploit itself. So what are the options they need? Suppose an attacker is into your own network, we just want the R host. R host means the remote host, means the IP address of this guy. Okay, then so you can see we have set the R host to be this. So we are just telling this exploit to go into this IP, which is called as Windows 7, and just do a buffer overflow. Means send hundreds of ladies to the security guard because we want to get in. Suspense is here. Hopefully, the security guard is not good.
Sometime you'll see you'll get the connection directly to the Windows 7 machine itself.
This is called as the buffer, which is just trying to groom, and finally we got an indication that it's when. What you got here?
See Windows.
This kind, this thing. What you got here?
We're in the Windows terminal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a bit big.
So, and let's see, check. Who am I? Who am I? I'm the admin now. So I have the privileges like this part. I can vanish the Windows disks and everything. See? So these are the partitions. I can access their partitions, all the data and everything. Okay, so now I wanted to explain. This is shell, what we got, the command prompt of the victim machine. But what if you want more privileges? I want to upload the files. I want to upload a ransomware and destroy everything. I want to keylog everything. So for that, you actually need to leverage your privileges. So for that, we need to convert this shell command to the meterpreter, what we call it as. Meterpreter is just similar to the shell command, but it will give you more privileges and elevated admin privileges, so you can do more stuff. So we can just try. We're gonna use something else. So it's like a post module, means once you compromise the system, then what else you want to do. So we have one module over here, so we can just use it. Okay, done. So this is just a simple configuration. So we can try, if it gives, or else we can end up over here. Still we are the admin. Okay, so it's not giving us the privileges. You can try a lot. Okay, so it's not going through. So at least you are still the admin. So you can just vanish the disk, you can vanish the whole hard disk and everything. So see, nothing, I have sent nothing to the victim machine. No malwares, no phishing attack, nothing. Just I have been into their own network, checking the vulnerability, the weakness of the guy, and I just compromised him. So this is the thing. So now we will continue with the awareness parts, what you're supposed to do. And Ian will be telling all those things. You want this next?
Excuse me. Can you please just review very briefly from beginning to end what happened? I mean, suppose I've got the victim machine.
Okay,
right?
you are
What
the victim
happened to me?
machine.
I mean, what I did wrong that I got kind of.
This is the advantage given to the attackers when you yourself is a vulnerable part.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you didn't do anything. It's just you didn't update your system that you've been vulnerable, giving us chance to get it.
Okay, you mean I didn't update my
Yeah.
VMs, right?
Yeah, so you have a vulnerability of buffer overflow, so you're missing some patches.
Alright.
That's why.
So how can you get my IP address?
Yeah, that is Nmap, through Nmap, which is the most advanced thing we use before exploiting. So first we do a scanning, we map the network, which are the hosts, and we get everything, IP, the operating system, the services, the port numbers, everything, with version numbers.
Okay. Suppose if I'm sitting in my home, right?
Yeah.
That's like something personal network, right? But
Yeah.
it's connected to internet.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just kind of immediate connection to internet. So in that case, or if I'm a user at UNITEC,
yeah.
okay, part of UNITEC network, which one is more vulnerable?
Okay, so you mean if the attacker and the victim both are in a different internal network?
No, I mean, suppose I'm a user, UNITEC, or I might be a user who's working from home, right?
Okay.
So I might be in two different locations,
Which is
two
more
different
vulnerable?
kind of network. Which one is more vulnerable against such kind of attacks?
Still, UNITEC.
UNITEC.
Because at
Yeah.
home it's only you logging into your router.
Yeah.
Unless you have a big Wi-Fi password or something like that way. If not, it's only you. So it's going to be
So
only
that's
you.
why. If I'm using my home network, it's just immediately connected to internet, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there's no much protection, but in UNITEC probably there are lots
There are
of different
layers
kinds of
of
layers
protections.
of firewalls and
Like-
everything.
Likewise,
So it should be
there are
more
many users.
protection for us, right?
Yeah, because who knows which user is malicious connecting to your
Like there
UNITEC
are-
devices?
everybody's
And maybe
connected.
someone from inside
Yeah,
UNITEC
may
might
do it.
compromise.
Yeah, because it is a big organization. Now I got as you know, the last session I got your credentials and everything, so I am automatically connected.
Yeah.
I can do a lot of things here.
It's like that way.
But if attacker is someone outside UNITEC, so it should be more difficult, right?
Yeah, when there is a gap between internal and external networks, we don't do this kind of attack first.
We do
We will
backdoor.
first do a phishing attack, or we will just the last session how we did.
Regarding backdoors.
Yeah. So it's like if I tell you example that you are at your home and you have some dogs. So I will be inviting you, I will be compromising you in such a way that you yourself will come and invite me so that your dogs won't bark at me. So dogs are your firewalls, IDS and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, now how to protect
Yeah,
our
that is.
machine?
So now you also what can happen. So that's what we were doing. So it's so easy. Basically, we have to be for this side of thing to work. We have to be in the same network. So, for example, like we said, UNITEC. There's so many users around. Even like you said, to get the IP, we can do a simple Nmap scan. Nmap is a kind of tool we use. Same for this. So when we use like that, we can scan the entire network for whoever is connected to the network. Let it be your phone, your laptop, your iPad, anything. As long as it's connected to the network, we can get all your information by just doing a small scan. So that's how we get the IP. So this, once you're over the internet, if the attacker is on the internet side, we cannot use these type of things. We have to compromise it in different ways, called using, like you said, using backdoors and stuff. So for these kind of things, how do we protect ourselves? So basically, how we protect ourselves is by keeping your system up to date. You know, Microsoft releases patches, updates every time. Some of us, we don't install it. Why? Because it takes time to download. Then when you're shutting down, you have to wait about 1 hour sometimes. It installs. Then when you on again configuring, it keeps turning. So we don't like that. So most of us, we don't install. When we don't do that, we are vulnerable to these kind of attacks. There's a reason Microsoft releases every time, you know, these updates and stuff to prevent these kind of things from happening. That is why it said always keep your systems up to date. Updating not only your operating system, updating your applications is also important. You see, so say you're using, for example, say Chrome, Google Chrome, or VLC, whatever. Those also have the individual vulnerabilities which we can use in the same way. It doesn't have to be the OS itself. through that, through say we compromise Google Chrome, through that we can gain access to your system. It's like going from through one gate to another. So that is why even those, they release updates as well time to time. They keep ask you to update to the new version and all this kind of stuff. Those are all due to these security related issues. So if we are updating, so we can do a couple of commands. From that we can see if we have the latest updates and if not. So these are like called hot fixes which Microsoft releases. So we can see hot fix, see the date and yeah, I think you can see it. So it's the hotfix ID. It's the ID given by Microsoft for the particular patches which they are giving us to install. And it shows the installed on date. You see one is installed on 8, that is 27. So that's today. So it's installed on today, and the other one is installed in 2010. So that's the hotfix ID. So you can search on that on the Microsoft website and you can install the patches manually, or you can turn on your automatic updates and search for it. Provided you're having a genuine operating system, okay? So which most of us, even we were not using genuines until quite some time. We use crack versions, but now since we all are using genuine, so always you can easily just turn on your updates and get it all downloaded to your systems. So in Windows 7, what happens is these are missing certain updates. Windows 7. So it's not just 2 patches which are coming for quite many years. There are plenty of other ones as well. Once we update this, it will not be vulnerable to such an attack which we just carried out now. So I think you can search for the installed updates. It's another way to fix it, the same thing.
Maybe you can ask everyone to check if their Windows is up to date or not on their machines.
But internet access, it won't give because it is a virtual machine and device don't give. So we are on
I mean on these machines.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so in this we cannot show you guys how the updates have been found and everything.
Yeah, but
because we
I
don't
can
have
show
access.
you the settings from where you can find it.
Yeah,
just
just
go into the control panel.
or just
And
yeah.
just you can make your life easy.
Those
So
updates
here you can
right
get
at the
this.
bottom. Once you go there, you can click on check for updates, and it will check whatever it is missing in the current operating system. It will download and install. It's as simple as that. If you don't do that,
And so many people
Endless.
has got a habit of doing this. When you see open one Windows update, it's off.
and the reason I told you why you off the updates because of that. Because we are lazy. We don't
and
like
we
to
want
wait.
internet speed.
Yeah.
It's not
Always.
always that. If you're on Windows 10, sometimes Microsoft itself makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And recently, some of their updates blue screen a number of devices worldwide.
yes.
So, I mean, I guess we should pace ourselves.
And as per my experience, honestly, I say Windows 7 is completely gone because this vulnerability, what I showed you, is always coming. Microsoft patches it again. The next year it comes back. So there is no fixed solution for that. They themselves couldn't find it.
Yeah. That's why in this case in production networks, say in organizational side, as soon as an update is released, we do not install the update. Why? Because like you mentioned, blue screens and everything make effect. So what we do is, on a separate device, we first test the updates which Microsoft or whoever relating to whatever application is released. We install it and we first test it. Is this update okay? Is this going to solve the issues or create more issues? So we check it. Once it is all okay, it is only then that we push the update out to the rest of the devices in the organization. We don't just turn automatic updates on all the devices and just leave it for them to download and install on themselves. No. Because due to these issues, there are certain bugs which are still not fixed and which can cause more harm than do good. That is why we always test it out. If it is okay, fine, then we push it all to all the devices which will install it from a central server in that case. Patch management, that is called patch management. So you're not downloading straight away from the internet and installing it. It's that server that downloads it for you, because it's also towards, if you go towards saving bandwidth side, you know, the internet side, the way you save it. So basically it does not slow down your network that much. Imagine you're downloading a 1 GB file on one machine, on say hundreds of machines, you're downloading just a 1 GB file. Everybody, that will come to that will come to like 100 GB just for 100 machines. But it's better if that is going through the internet, which is using your network line, which is going to slow down your network. So what we do is we use that one device to download that 1 GB file from the internet, and then, like in the sense of patches, we test it out, and then from that server we push it internally to the devices inside the organization. So by that, we are not using the external network bandwidth, which is going to slow down the network if we do. So you see the way that's the way we use it. Rather than 10 machines downloading the same thing 10 times, we downloaded it once, and then we ourselves push it out to the 10 machines separately. That is how the patch management is done. You guys will come to it later on.
So updating Windows for a large organization is pretty much different from individual updates, right? For a single computer.
Yes.
Yes, the updates will be the same thing, only the pushing technology will be different.
Right.
Yeah. It won't be installed individually.
So it means in UNITEC we don't need to update every single machine one by one. So yeah, everything is done by the network.
To the server,
admin.
because
Yeah.
every machine is a client of one server.
Yeah.
It's all joined to the domain, so it's centralized.
So this is like client-server model, right?
Yes.
Client server model.
So you guys, one of the things that we have discussed a lot, and this is something that you might be, you might get some questions in the test. For example, the difference between client-server machine and, so we are going to, this kind of session help you to understand very different aspects of this system. Right now we can see, for example, for updating your operating system, client-server model is pretty much different from peer-to-peer network, right? So it's client-server model. You have thousands of these machines in UNITEC, but we don't update them one by one. Right? As Ian and Anand explained, so network administrator is responsible to download all the patches, and they push through the network to all the devices at the same time. So, and this is in the future, maybe nowadays, it's kind of automated, right? So you write a piece of code to download and to install all the updates in a piece of code. It's pretty much automated. So
And there is a disadvantage of this system as well, because once the administrator just downloads every patch, sometimes you are not supposed to patch the server or some host machines which are already running some important services, so as not to interrupt them. So they schedule it for later purposes, and they sometimes forget. So administrator should be good, actually.
You have to schedule it to a proper time. You can set the schedule time, say, mainly what we do is schedule time is not during, say, 8 to 5. We don't do it that time because that's the time you're doing the work, that's the time you're using the machines. So what we do is mainly after office hours or before, say early morning 2 o'clock, early morning 3 o'clock, there's nobody here using the machines. Those are the times we mainly use to push the updates out. So when you come in the morning, you don't see anything. It's like normal for you.
Especially the servers, because servers are always 24/7 running. So you need to take it down just for the patch management.
Right.
That's what.
So if you get a question in your test, a few weeks later, in a peer-to-peer network, suppose you want to install the updates on 10 different machines which are connected together with peer-to-peer model. So what's the, how do you do it? Do we have a server operating system in a peer-to-peer network?
I guess you should. The servers update will go in every terminal client side.
That's client-server model. In peer-to-peer network, so all machines are same. We don't have server. Is that right? So it's pretty much different.
You need to have a machine which is like administrate all the network now.
Then it's client-server model.
So you have
If
the
you have
client,
such
you
machine.
update the client, it will update all the machines.
Well, again, that model is not peer-to-peer. So in peer-to-peer network, all are same, right? But in client-server model, so you have servers, and you have, you might have multiple servers as well. So for printer, for data, for files, for whatever. So the model will be different. So you need to clearly understand what are the differences between client-server model and not just the structure. Okay, we have a server at some clients and that's all. No. Exactly what are the functions, how they are different, I mean in terms of the, even management perspective, right? From the network administrative point of view. So that's why we are discussing these things here. So you can see very different perspectives.
Yeah, basically in peer-to-peer, no one is boss of anyone.
Yeah.
But in client server is the boss,
Yeah.
main boss, who's gonna manage everything.
And you have a particular kind of operating system.
Yes.
Right? With some particular tools
Yes.
to install all those updates, create the accounts for the users, all the accounts management, or the Active Directory. Sharing resources like printers, for example, files, folders, all these sort of things. But you will see in practical number 3 that we create a peer-to-peer network. So two machines are exactly the same. They just communicate with each other. We can control one, another one, and vice versa. So they are exactly having the same function. So no server, no boss. Alright, sorry for interrupting.
Any questions?
Okay, so any questions related to
Just for fun, I just downloaded a ransomware. Hopefully it should work. So as we compromised the victim machine, so now I have got all the information what I wanted. Now at the end, being a very bad guy, I want to destroy that machine. So what we can do, so we can just run this backdoor from our own attacker's machine. We can just do the command, then it's gone. So you would have known about the ransomware attack 2 years back. So there is one of that sample.
It's just a sample.
Yeah, so it's gone. Now only one option, either you back up or restore.
That's it.
So nothing can be done. So it's now gone completely. Kaput, we call it as.
It's gone. You can't verify. That's what they say. Don't click on links and all this stuff, because clicking on a link can download these kind of stuff
This
as
kind
well.
of stuff.
It's not just the phishing that I meant by clicking on links, okay? It's that backdoors, ransomwares, rootkits. There are different types. You can search on these words if you want to learn more. Backdoors, rootkits, and ransomware, which most of you might be knowing. So all of these kind of stuff will be downloaded by just clicking on a single link. So it's not just the point of phishing which goes to a fake website, okay? It's different. It can be that as well, and it can be these kind of stuff. So that's what. Be aware.
Especially in the public networks.
Yeah.
Like cafes. You should never access your bank accounts, especially.
Anything personal.
And everything. Yeah, because I may be sitting over there, sniffing around it.
While you're doing, you can just keep walking by. What you're doing. It's like that.
So any questions, please? It's interesting field if you want to go into
Yeah.
that.
On the first example you made with Facebook, and when you get the password and you email back, does like cross-origin request block you in like Google Chrome and stuff like that?
Sorry, block me?
Yeah, like your request to enter in your account
Yeah.
wasn't come from Facebook, so cross-origin should block your
No,
request to come.
nobody will block my request, nobody knows about it, it's just you who will be the victim about it. Because it's kind of private, it's personal, but we are doing so. It's hosted on our local web server, which is not in the internet. And by clicking on that link, you will be redirected, no matter where you are in the internet, you will be redirected straight away into my server.
And unfortunately, it is not malicious to get caught.
It's nothing many, it's nothing bad. It's just that if you don't use your brains, you will enter your details and get compromised. That's the thing about the phishing. So, yeah. Any other questions? From the cybersecurity interested
So
people?
basically, you can access more. Like we can view your webcam, keystrokes, and everything. So this was our last session, which you missed actually. Probably looking forward to show that again.
Yeah, last session we did something more interesting using backdoor. So So what we did was same, rather than a Windows 7, we compromised a Windows 10 machine, which all I had to do is like thinking it's a genuine software, I just run it. And by doing that, it's not the software actually, it's a malicious thing which installs a backdoor. So by that, the attacker can gain access into our system. And once he gets access into our system, he can turn on my webcam if it's a laptop or whatever. And he can watch me. He can spy on me, no matter what I'm doing, okay? He can record my keystrokes. Whatever I type on the keyboard, everything he can record. So
and
that
this
was
is the latest scam going on in New Zealand.
That's another latest
Cam
one.
recording, and they're just asking and demanding you to pay some money,
yeah.
or else we're
They-
gonna post it everything, your web history, everything.
Because the webcams, you sometimes, if you're not aware of it, you will know. You won't know. Because there's nothing opening for you. But ideally, he's looking at you through your own webcam.
Gotta get some tape.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. This is the reason why we have the small LED as well.
LED.
Yeah, people
New-
think
yeah.
it is a flashlight, but it is not.
New laptops have the LEDs it's on the webcam. So if it is on for no reason, then you can know, okay, there's something fishy going on. If not, it comes on only when you're actually using the webcam, right? That is why they include the LED in the new laptops. Old ones, you don't get it. Then just, sorry, you don't know. That's what I want. So, yeah. So that's what we did last time. We hope to, maybe in the future bring more interesting things to you guys if you're interested, like regarding those kind of stuff. So, yeah. So for this, any other additional questions from any of you?
Please connect us. My usual last slide.
So you guys can connect, and yeah, if there's any questions relating anything which you guys need to know regarding cybersecurity.
What's something we can do on our own time to learn and to advance in this field?
Research.
Okay.
Research.
But,
Anything more specific?
and in parallel, learn Linux. Start learning Linux.
Start learning Linux, the codings and everything.
Okay.
And you can also refer to CVE details and exploit database, where you can get knowledge of the recent vulnerabilities from the Microsoft which are coming. Then you can just research on it, why it is there. Then you can just test once you learn the Linux.
CVE database and
This MS-17, we got it from there.
those are the small things which you guys can do. And relating to any names which you like, you can search more and go in detail. Say, just find regarding backdoors. Then when you find regarding backdoors, you will come across details about these ports, open ports, different ports. So if you guys are not aware of these ports, the ports we use in the networking side, you guys can research more into that as well. There are different kinds of ports if you go into detail. Well-known ports, registered ports, all this kind of stuff. So if you go into detail into one word, you will learn a lot of things rather than just that particular thing. Because
This is called as vulnerabilities by date, vulnerabilities by type, and everything. You can just search for vendors, products, and everything. You can get everything.
it's not about just Microsoft, like I said before. It's any
Everything.
application which you use.
Every device which is connected to.
Even your mobile phones can be compromised in the same way.
Yeah, I can get your contacts, emails,
Text messages,
everything. Even your screenshot.
you can compromise your phones, anything. We hope to do something on that as well later on, maybe, because it will be interesting regarding the mobile phones,
Yeah, Android mobile.
Android. So we'll see.
What else?
That's it from our side. So if you guys have anything, you can just go ahead and ask.
It will be very advanced for them.
As I said, you research or you need one word and you will learn a lot of things. Like we gave some
It's
words.
endless.
Endless.
Cybersecurity is endless.
It's quite interesting, but how you can do this stuff. That's what motivates you to go into this field. If you're into that type of stuff.
All right. Thank you so much, Anant and Ian. Any other questions? All right. Yeah, thank you so much for the interesting presentation. Yeah, it's just about the awareness. cybersecurity threats and social engineering, different problems that occur in our society, and we should be aware of them. Especially you guys are going to be experts, maybe in networking or in IT area, right? You should have much more. You should be much more knowledgeable than regular people. Right? So. Almost 2 weeks ago, I showed you the email. I mean, these problems are always happening. 2 weeks ago, I received an email from one of my colleagues who is a manager. We got an email from so-called Microsoft to upgrade the whole organization's, Microsoft account. And because he is not an expert, he just forwarded it to the IT manager. And fortunately, our IT manager could recognize that's kind of, phishing email. Otherwise, we don't know what would happen. We have lots of data, we have lots of information in our network, so that's a problem which is like happening always, and we should be. A few years back, I lost my credit card information because of a cybersecurity problem in the company, one of the company's website. For example, I'm paying for an airline ticket, and my credit card information is stored in their database.
Yeah.
Because their network, their system is not secure, 100% secure. So.
So it's called as a data breach.
Yeah.
Called it as a data
Say
breach.
example, if we hack PayPal, if we get into PayPal systems, how many millions of card details we can get?
Yeah.
It's like that way.
And I remember it, after almost 1.5 months, I found out, okay, there's a problem with my credit card statement. I haven't paid anything during last few months, like around $4,000 for airline ticket. No, I haven't paid. So then I checked, there was like 3 tickets. I think 3 tickets bought by only one person. But it was not so difficult to find that person by the, they have
details
some,
are there.
yeah. I think they can, and of course they reimburse your money, but that's a kind of,
Hassle.
yeah. It takes at least a few months to get your money back, and your credit card information is lost, and all these things they have to reissue your credit card. So these are all the problems that are happening, and we should be kind of aware of these problems, and especially as experts in the future.
Yes.
All right.
Depends on the best practices you need to be having while surfing on internet.
Yeah.
You can just subscribe to my channel. I have shown all the common attacks, all the hackings, what I did till now. So you can just check from the playlist and get this hack.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's